Okay, let me get these banners going. Hope y'all had a great week thus far. Just waiting for some people to come in the room, but I'm just gonna get started anyway. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just getting a little organized. Hope y'all have had a great week thus far. We'll just try to get started. So let's see. Corrections. I don't know if we have any corrections. I'm sure we did. I don't know if I documented any. Let me think about that. Um, I'm gonna move on, and I'll come back to this if I think of anything. I think I want to keep this as like a constant banner for every show. It's like every single week I kind of think about how sad I am about like the younger generations, people who are like 20 and younger, how they're being influenced by older generations, people my age who are 40, 50, 60, um, people who are just grifting, people who are living a double life, and they're trying to sabotage these younger generations for the sake of keeping misogyny and patriarchy alive. Listen, it'll probably never go away, but like we need to move forward as a country, as a world, where that's not the only option. It's obsolete, and so many people are hurting as a result of it. So, um, to anybody who might be listening live or replay that's 20 or younger, it's like have the courage to live your own life. Not just don't just listen to just men in your life. That's toxic. A lot of men these days are going to tell you they're going to discourage you from listening to women. I think I took the approach of saying, if I want to learn how to win with women, I want to surround myself and listen to women, not men. Um, let's see. Let me move on. I want to tell everybody, hey, go out. I encourage everybody to go out and vote. I already did that. I did mine the first day, the 15th, yesterday. Glad I got it out the way. Get all the anxiety out the way. But as the banner shows, you can do that through November 1st. Like I said before in previous podcasts, like this is not a political channel, so I'm not going to like tell you guys who to vote for. Vote for whoever you want. Let me see. I wanted to kind of spoil stuff on this show, but I'm not going to do it. She might be listening live or replay. We're hanging out tomorrow. She's got a birthday, this milestone birthday actually this weekend. Going up to traveling for that with family. So as a people pleaser, I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of like give her the gift and or gifts for her birthday. So I'm really excited about that. I want to do a little bit of a recap. I don't know if I have another little married woman banner, but the last live that I did, it was with the married woman. It was so funny. It was somebody offline who was asking me like, "Yo, are you using the married woman for? Are you using the married? The married woman is the married woman like a real thing, or is this just content?" And I'm like, "No, this is my real life. Like I'm actually dating that woman. We've been dating for a good bit. Let me see what else. Um, is there anything else to talk about this? Um, no, I think the last thing I'll just say is like I'm really grateful for the things that she's kind of added to my life. I thought she brought up some great points. I think I might have made some topics that some of the stuff that she did say. I think one of them was about she said something about, hey, you do not have to be patient. You can get whatever you want. If you want a situationship, if you want this, if you want that, if you don't want to have to be patient, if you want to be patient. Listen, married woman, I disagree with that. I think that's spoken from a woman's point of view. Um, her and I have, and me and some other people have talked about. It's kind of weird how like the things women want, men can get easily. The things that women want, the things that men want, women can get easily. So I don't know about you know, it being very easily for a man to get whatever he wants. That's I don't think that's the case, married woman. I disagree with you on that. But um, I just want to say maybe before I go further is like the topic of the show about like how why black men are scared of getting married. Just like before the show, I ended up texting multiple people, including the married woman, like, and I was really appreciated the responses they gave from their point of view, which I think I'm going to share a little bit later. Um, I want to move into one. This is like an older banner, but I think I wanted to repurpose it. Like I think that this is no longer true. When men, specifically the maspheric men, rim men, they want to claim biologically men are logical, women are emotional. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I really don't. Um, I think that men are extremely insecure. I gotta find out exactly how I put it. Um, Let me see if I can find it. Um, I can't find it. Let's see. Yeah, I said like men are emotional and women are resilient. Men are irrational and women are resilient. Men are entitled and women are resilient. Um, so like I said, I don't, I'm not buying this men are logical because as we can see with, some of the stuff that their demands that they're making about traditional families, but they can't afford one. Where's the logic in that? Um, Wanting certain body counts for men, but not, but only women can't go over 5 or 6. That's not logical. Um, Let me see what else. The What else do I want to go into? How much generational? Let's see. Let me go check my pictures right quick and see if I got stuff. I'll skip to this. We've been talking about in the last few lives about how we've started to understand that like the maspheric men, they just want a simple life. Listen, no judgment if that's what you want, but stop trying to persuade everyone to live like that. Specifically the women, and the other men. People are going to want different things in life, and I had this like little hot take of like, yo, um, what they're complaining about in women, in modern women, is, oh, modern women's standards are too high. They need to lower their standards. Their standards are too high. Well, the problem is, I started to think about it. I'm like, if you want a simple life, your children are going to be simple. They're going to be growing up and listen, no judgment. They're going to be growing up in like, I don't know, 2040 or later, it's talking about, I don't really want to go to college. Listen, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's definitely ways to do that, and not go to college. I, I wouldn't. I don't want my children to think like that. Um, like I said, there's many ways to get to uh, a prosperous life or setting yourself up well. College may or may not have to be the lane, but I think that it should. I think that if you have the opportunity to, you should definitely go. But long story short, without me going on rambling, is, yo, if you guys want lower standards and you guys want a simple life, your kids are going to be simple. And who's Pookies are also simple too. They want a simple life as well. They are living a simple life. They love a simple life. They want simple women too. So you're kind of thinking on the level of a Pookie. So that's in a nutshell is um these people who want a simple life, I think they're short-sighted and they don't realize, yo, you're setting up a whole lineage of Pookies. Maybe within 1 or 2 generations later. But they don't see that. And I think that that's kind of a trend. These maspheric men, they aren't thinking beyond themselves. They're only thinking about themselves. They're only thinking about how they can live it up and enjoy their life. Listen, you should. Everybody should. But I'm saying a part of growing up is realizing it's not just about you, especially if you're thinking about having children. I don't have children, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. But I'm just saying, as I start to kind of move towards that direction, which I do, I want to become a father at some point. I have to think beyond myself. Um, the problem is you have manospheric men who want to step in the arena and have conversations that they're not qualified to have because they don't want to be fathers or they don't want marriage, but they want to speak about marriage. They want to speak about fatherhood. It's confusing. We're in a really weird era. Let me check my photos. And let me check my little videos because there were some things I wanted to show for sure. Let me check. Let me know in the comments, how are y'all doing? Let's see. Let me check my comments. Okay. Let's see. So I know we had, let me find the banner for it though. Give me a second. So I don't have like the links prepared for it, but last week I think Tesla kind of won the internet. Tesla came out with the Cybercab, the cyber van. They also came out with the Optimus. I think I only had videos of the Optimus, so I want to show that. I want to see if I have like a good little video of that. Hold up. I'm slacking on my links. Let's copy this. Let's check the chat real quick. Jamie Zed, I don't know. You have to ask her. She's back in the States, but I know you ask this like all the time. How would I know? I don't have GPS on Zed. Give me 1 second. Let's do some little sharing real quick. And actually, let's put the. I'm not gonna be up here too long, but I'm gonna put the link in the chat just in case people want to join. Okay, there's Zed. Oh no, that's not Zed. I'll take that back. That's just a link. We have I think she's like simulcasting. But hold on. Let me share my screen. So hold on. Okay, let's go ahead and share this. Let's put fair use on because we're gonna need it a bit tonight. Okay. Share screen. Okay, let's go full screen with this. Let's make sure the sound's up.
Hey, who's this guy? Task for some space.
Spider-Man, where's the third one?
Fair use.
Oh my gosh, wait a second. That is hilarious. I thought. Let me move up a little bit. Join my guys.
Oh my gosh, this is really happening, you guys. Yeah, it's incredible.
All right, we here.
Here we go.
Hey. See? You guys check this guy out. I don't even think he sees him.
Okay, so give me a second. I got to show some other things. It's a crime if I don't show some of these other unveilings. Let's see. Hold up. Fair use. So people who don't already know, Tesla cars have the capability of like full self-driving. So what this is basically is a car that can pick you up at like a taxi. There's no driver. It just picks you up, takes you wherever you need to go. So this is like a step towards complete full self-driving cars. So let's move off of that. Let's see if there's anything else to show from that. I think what you missed. I think I would tell everybody to like go. Without me geeking out too much, I'm just gonna like stop sharing that. I'm geeking out way too much. But I after I saw that unveiling, I was just jealous. I was like, man, I wish I was over there at that release, because if you go back and see the videos, like the little Optimus robots, they're dancing. They have a full artificial intelligence. You can talk to them. They can. I think Tesla's going to be selling them and going into production like next year. And I think they're going to be selling them for like 20 grand. So that's kind of like little nerdy side to me. I geek out over like little Apple unveilings and Tesla 2 or just anything tech related. I just get like super nerdy about it. Like it's exciting. But that's what I had a little funny joke where I was like, because there's a lot of people who hate Elon Musk. I get it. But the problem is that there's going to be a time in the future where maybe catching a bus or taking a cab might be a Tesla car. A lot of the EVs, they have adopted the Tesla charging standard. So if you have an EV, you're going to probably be charging on Tesla's network. So it's like, how much you want to hate Elon Musk? I mean, that's up to you, but you're going to be using his products probably in the near future. I think I saw someone also have like a nice little hot take about how these robots that they're trying to introduce called Optimus, that they think it could be a threat to people's jobs, because like these jobs, I mean, these robots can like serve drinks, they can dance, they can supposedly teach your children, they can go pick up groceries, they can do a lot of different things. So eventually, as Tesla and Elon continue to like update these robots, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. It'll be interesting to see how much they'll eventually be able to do. Let's see what else. I think there might have been. I thought I want to share my screen on like something. Just a little bit of like incel culture. I'm not an incel, but I just want to share this stuff. Let's see. I don't think we need to share audio. Let's see, 1 second. So I thought this was super funny. This is like a dating profile that of some guy on social media. And listen, like I was talking like with one of my ex-girlfriends, and I was like, listen, and we were both agreeing, like, listen, if you don't want to date women with children, why are you putting that in your dating profile? So like this guy's like 37, kind of late in the game. I'm 42. I'm late in the game too. But he's over here just like a lot. I hear this from women that I've dated, is like, if it's not their profile, it's the conversation. They're able to spot you like a mile away, finding out that you are a manospheric man, or you're a red pill, or you're one of these quote unquote alpha male type, aspiring alpha male types. So this guy, like, he's just running away everybody from his social media his dating profile alone. I don't know if this stuff is real. I don't know if this stuff is fake, but like if this stuff is real, this is wild. Um, let's just see what he's saying. He's saying he's I don't understand. Like if you detest women who have kids and have multiple baby daddies so much, like why are you letting them come in your orbit? Like, why is that affecting you so much? Like I said, like I'm really starting to like think about this stuff and say, like, yo, is this stuff even really real or is it just propaganda? Because it's not going to take easy. You can easily doctor up something like this, but apparently he's using his social media profile where he should be using his opportunity to find love. He's using his opportunity to slander people and just punch down on people. I mean, it's just the language in this is really vile. Wow. So again, I just want to show this. This was kind of crazy. I'm trying to see if there's any other photos. Let's see. Are there any ones? This is another little red pill thing. It's they're just completely miserable. So like they want to paint the modern woman as someone who has all these things, and it's like, who has all these things? Um, but it's just showing you like how weak some of these men are. A lot of these men are who are just aligning themselves with the red pill. It's like y'all are just so insecure that like, listen, this you got a woman can't have a body count more than 5. That's negative to them. They can't be a girl boss. They can't. Let me see. They can't be strong and independent. They can't use family court. They can't have multiple tattoos. Spoiler alert: married woman has multiple tattoos. She's probably got like 7 or 8. They look great, by the way. I haven't seen them all. Has a male best friend. Wow, that's crazy. Very insecure to say that. Um, wears revealing clothes, but the weird thing about it is y'all want that. Um, let's see. And here we go. The star of the show here. Modern woman is liberal. Let's be very clear here, because a lot of these red pillar guys, they're like almost all conservative men, aka Republican. But let's be clear here. The Republican women of the modern Republican women, they're sick of these red pill men too. Let's just be very clear about that. Let me move on. Let me see if there's anything else. This is another little racist one. I know we talked about some of the racist stuff in the last episode. Like, we talked about like who's really creating these things. Let's be clear about here. At this, a black guy probably didn't create this, but they're spreading racist propaganda in this stuff. Let me stop. Let me stop sharing. Let's see what to go on. What else? What to go on next? Let me see. Give me a second. There was supposed to be another one I wanted to show. I guess it didn't sync over. Let's see. I don't know if we're gonna show it. I'm trying to see if I have a link for this. But Kamala Harris, she put out a plan for black men. I guess we might as well just let me try to see if I can Google that real quick. And then, I think maybe a week before that, Barack Obama was kind of giving black men a talking to about not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. So I think that one of them that was really interesting to show was, let me share my screen again. One second. I thought this was really interesting. again, not telling anybody who to vote for, but I'm just saying one of the bones that I think men, specifically black men, had to pick was, specifically with Stacey Abrams before Kamala, was that, people are ignoring black men. They're making so many changes for black women, but they're not thinking about black men. Okay, well, I don't know what they have to say about this. So I thought this was an interesting little tweet saying that providing forgivable loans to entrepreneurs and people who want to start businesses. Um, I'm gonna try to find the tweet that had some other bullet points. Um, Give me a second. I have to have something else. Yeah, here we go. This one too. This is not. Yeah, this is for those that. This is not just the bullet points. I want to make sure I'm sharing the screen. Good. Not just there was one that just had just regular bullet points. This one has some bullet points with some color around it or some extra explanation around it. So let's just look at some of these pathways to high demand jobs. This is extremely needed. I think this is one of the reasons why we have Red Pill. I started thinking about it over the last week or so. Is just like just specifically not just this time period, but like over previous time periods. Like, is there a correlation? I'm sure there is between economic stress and far right type of thinking. To the point where it sucked in black men to this, where because I think a lot of these black men are struggling. I think I've been maybe saying this on some of these podcasts, and I'll say it now. It's like I think one of the things that we definitely need, just as a community, not just for black men, is we need to we really need this. We need to kind of migrate to some higher paying jobs. Education also is extremely important. That's the one thing I think that's funny, that a lot of these red pillars, like, they want to get rid of Pookie and Ray Rays. They want to stop violent communities and crime, but they don't want the government to be giving out money to bolster education or give people access to higher paying jobs. It's kind of weird. So hey, this is another one, second bullet point. Increase the representation of black male teachers. Okay, this is another red pill talking point, how they're screaming and crying saying, oh my gosh, there's not a lot of male teachers. Women, the reason why they're thriving in education is because there's so many education is a woman dominated field. Okay, so when this changes, I want to see where the red pillars, the black manosphere, starts to move the goalpost again. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is important too. And these are some heavy hitters about trying to address some of the health inequalities that black men or just black people are facing. I think this is a great talking point. Oh, I did not see this coming. Legalizing recreational marijuana at the federal level. I don't know how that's going to help black men, but okay, whatever. Let's see. Affordable housing units. I like this. And let me just put this out here. Like I said, equal opportunity. If Trump's administration has put out anything similar, send this to me. I'm more than happy to show it. This does not have to be like a Democrat focused channel. We want to show the whole picture. Let's see. More than affordable housing units. Let's see. Racial bias and home appraisals. Okay, I like this. Wealth building, black entrepreneurship. I like this. So let's stop sharing that. But that's there for y'all to catch up on if you haven't already read that kind of stuff. I just thought that was really important. I thought that was very timely as well. And just now that we have the early voting coming out, let me see what else. I was talking with some people about this, and it dawned on me. I was like, yo, red pillars are like so consumed about stats, but are they qualified to be having the conversations that they have? Like, they're having, like, when we had the live with the married woman, I think it was I forget who brought it up. I can't remember the name, but he brought up, hey, Tom Brady and Bill Gates they were billionaires and their wives that weren't even satisfied with them. And she just lit into this guy, talking about like, yo, we need to start talking about the experiences and situations that we actually know about. Let's stop being thousandaires talking about billionaires lifestyles. Let's stop being thousandaires talking about millionaire lifestyles. Let's stop being men who don't earn six figures talking about men who are six figures. Let's stop talking about men who are not monogamous talking about, hey, every woman could have got married. There was guys around her that she ignored that, that would have been great. Stop talking about those men because you aren't those men. But it got me thinking. I was like, these men in this manosphere, high key, in my opinion, should have to upload a W-2 to engage in the conversations that they're having. We need to know how much do they really earn, because they start using the social media to take advantage of the anonymity and start having conversations that are way beyond their pay grade. The whole traditional wife crap, and I think we might get into it a little bit today, is beyond their pay grade. They can't afford traditional wives. One of the things that I was looking at, and I want to drill into it a little bit more in the next coming weeks, there's a concept called a livable wage. And I was looking at that in the last couple of days, and I'm like, listen, a lot of these manospheric men don't earn a livable wage, and they want to talk about traditional wives, and they break it down by like one adult, no kid, one adult, one kid, two adults working or not working, one kid or two kids. And it's like, I don't know if these manospheric men have even taken a look at that MIT, they did it, MIT did it. It's called the MIT living wage. But I think just before this show, I looked up somebody else's critique, and they said the living wage really just covers the necessary needs, the basic needs. The problem is, these manospheric men, they're not looking. Yes, I know they want a simple life, but like in this economy, you've got to be able to thrive. It's not enough to just be able to cover the basic needs, especially as they want to be traditional men. Let me look at some of these comments, and I'm gonna get back to this. Uh-oh. Okay, let's look at these. Yeah, I agree. They got red pill rage. Exactly. They speak on billionaires. They speak on six-figure men. They speak on monogamous men. They speak on fathers. They speak on people who are married. And then I want to speak about this, Andrew. The problem that we're in, one of the problems with this era that we're in is we have these know-it-alls. And I think maybe it started with COVID. It might have started before this, but it definitely started shortly after COVID, where people started questioning doctors. People started questioning scientists. People started questioning science by stuff that they find on the internet. Like, I just did the research, so I know about COVID. I know what this. I know what this. I know what that. And it's like after that, it started to spiral into relationships now. So like you'll have dudes who never had a long-term relationship, never proposed to a woman, never been married, but then they want to speak to people like me who've been married for over a decade. They want to speak on behalf of women who have kids about how they should have raised their kids and how they could have kept the man in their life, or kept how they should have stuck in their marriage instead of filing for divorce. It's the weirdest era ever. Let's see what else. They use red pill points in circles. Yeah. They act like they believe that they're high value men, or they can become high value men. Let's be clear about that. Some men don't have the work ethic to become a high value man. And the people who did become a high value man did not do so most of them, I don't think did so to flex and say, I'm going to prove to everybody I can become a high value man. So I just did it. No, it's like you have a hard work ethic, and you became one. But the weird thing is these red pillars, it's like almost like a camp, a seminar, or like a summer camp for cucks. It's like these dudes want to become high value men just to like stick it to people, stick it to women. It's weird. Yeah, I agree. It's integrity, like you're saying, ethic. The other thing that I want to touch on, Andrew, is high value men are not selfish. And this kind of pivots into another point I want to talk about. Let me go back to this banner. It was right under the one I was talking about. So this whole high value man lifestyle is selfish. It's extremely selfish. I was raised, I say on a lot of these podcasts, that I was raised in a TRADCon relationship. My dad is a traditional, a TRADCon husband. My mom really only helped him in his really support his practice. She had a career, and I think she stopped once she had my brother, and realized that it was how difficult it was to juggle that career and fly, which her career involved flying to travel, um, and the demands of going through a pregnancy, raising kids, and also working. So she stopped and sacrificed her career. And she was not a traditional stay-at-home wife. I think she kind of converted into it because she realized logistically and for the family, it was the sacrifice play that she had to make. My mom ended up just to get some backstory. I saw my mom in high school go and get a master's. I saw her back in like 2017 get a PhD. So, but off that, high value men are not, as they quote unquote in this day and age, are selfish men. I want to go back to the comments. Let's see. Oh, I like this. Um, let's see. Yeah. And see, you know what, Andrew? They need to say that. I have said on these podcasts, I'll say it here. I filed for divorce. I am divorced, but I really want to get remarried. I was thinking about today. I'm like, I can't wait to get remarried. I really can't, and start a family. But yeah, a lot of these guys have been divorced multiple times. A lot of these guys might have been divorced at least once. And what the problem to me is they're trying to steer men away from marriage. I think one of the things I didn't research before this show was, or this podcast was, when did no fault divorce come into play? I'm gonna just try to do that Google right now. Let's see, hold on. Because that's when a lot of these manosphere men are just drawing the line and saying, this is when it was terrible for men after this point. Give me a second. Hold up. 1969, California was the first state. So let's just say the 70s, 80s. Hold up. I'm making a lot of fire little tweets here. Yes. So like being a high value man, it's about, like you're saying, it's about ethics, integrity, keeping your word. Yes. It's not about being promiscuous. Let's see. The alpha terminology was debunked. And I don't know if you're talking about like the alpha terms, the alpha ideology in terms of like how they try to compare like the wolf, the wolf pack, or the animals, having alphas versus, and trying to like conflate it over to like humans. But yeah, I need to go do some research on this too, because I heard that this was debunked by the person who made up the terminology of alpha. I need to look at that. So let's see. Hold on. Same here. My dad. Yeah. That's a good. Let's see. My dad helped my mom, and she went to work and home he worked, I guess, to get six figures. Yeah, like I'll tell you like another little story time. Like my dad, I remember like my dad, like I say on these podcasts, like my dad's a doctor. Growing up, I saw him just completely sacrifice himself for the sake of his children. I never really saw him. He never had a midlife crisis. The only thing he really did have, when the Rams came to St. Louis, he got season tickets. He's a big sports fan. But when his shoes needed to be replaced, he just got them resold. He didn't get new shoes. He wasn't wearing Balenciagas. He wasn't really a flashy dude. He would do everything he could to just put his children in a position to succeed. And he succeeded. Him and my mother succeeded. Everybody, with the exception of me, I'm successful in my own right, but the others, they went to grad school, graduated, took exams, passed those. I didn't want to go the lawyer doctor route. I went the tech route. I'm successful in that. let's see. To get 6 years. So I'm guessing your dad is an Army vet. Yeah, like I mean, let's talk about this, Andrew. I think these men are scared of divorces. They even these guys who are very promiscuous and they want to be high value men, they're scared of divorces. Because like you see when they go through them, and we have like a geriatric YouTuber who orbits this account. He's been divorced like 2 or 3 times. No judgment. And I think let's be clear about that. The way they're trying to set themselves up and have a stay-at-home wife, a wife who doesn't work, a wife who's not very ambitious, you're going to be taking hits every fucking time you get divorced. What these red pillars don't fucking understand is if you married someone who made more than you don't split. You're not going to be paying alimony. That's just off top. But that makes them feel insecure. We showed that in maybe a couple of lives ago where from the financial diet video where they said like these men with these egalitarian beliefs, they're even if a woman made $1 million and said, "Hey, I want to be in a relationship with you," they don't know how to do it and feel comfortable within themselves. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Um, Let's see if there are family courts. Yeah, I saw something about this. I know, like we're not talking about Passport Bros anymore, but it's funny how one of these it was a Passport Bro channel that was talking about, yo, even if you're from the United States and you go to the Philippines, they can get child support from you over there. So these dudes want to run from responsibility. They want an easy situation, and there is no such thing. In terms of trying to have kids and be married. They want some fantasy land where they can just get married and leave the wife and not have to divide assets. That's really what it is. Like we need to shift the narrative from, hey, you're getting taken to the cleaners. You're giving out half. It's no. You're dividing marital assets. That's what it is. It's not your assets. It's the marriages. So it doesn't matter like who had more assets than the other person. It's still marital assets. You're splitting up marital assets. But men and misogyny have poisoned the debate to say, no, that was his. So like one of the things I saw recently was DJ Mustard got a divorce and he's paying his wife $28,000 a month, and he bought her out and had to pay like $315,000. This is a guy who makes a lot of money. The average man doesn't make that much money. So what the Maspheric men will take from that is, oh my gosh, if I get married, I'm gonna get taken cleaners to the same extent. No, no, you will not. And if DJ Mustard would have married somebody more who had a career, maybe made as much money as he did, if not more, it would have been a different story. But that's not what he did. Thanks for posting this. I need to go read this about the Franz de Waal. Listen, Andrew, you should jump on the panel. Feel free to. I need to read his books. Let's see. He was management of GT. I don't know what GT stands for, but he made 6 figures. House paid off. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I like this. This is a quality ass post. Your dad sounds like an awesome dude. Let's see. They lack accountability and blame the women. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. I'm getting a little early into this. Oh, I'm gonna go back to that previous post, but I like this. I love to see this. Andrew, you should join the panel. You should definitely do it. Let me post that link in the chat one time for the one time. Let's do it. Psh. Okay. Nice. So they blame the woman. So Andrew, like, I had this epiphany. I'm gonna get to the banner. We're jumping ahead a little bit. Hold up. Let me find the banner first. Let me find it. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm trying to find this. Okay, here we go. This is it. I came into I thought about it in the last week or so, and Andrew, and I was like, these manospheric men, they're filibustering. All this podcast culture, this stuff to punch down on black women, they're just filibustering. They want to delay. They want to buy time. They want to take the topic. They want to take themselves out of the spotlight. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be analyzed. So again, they don't want the filibustering part is like they don't want to see society move forward, and that's just that's not just black men. That's just red pill men in general. This is like an extinction burst tactic to try to shame women and degrade them into from trying to advance and move society forward. So like I said, what they're doing is they're resorting to filibustering and saying, "Hey, you know what? If we just like that one senator, I think he had the record for the longest filibuster. It was like 24 hours. Like the whole podcast culture is to create a spectacle. It's to distract people from the fact that men are falling short and not doing the work, not equipped, not ready, and they want to try to punch down on the women who are ready. Some of these women are over ready. They're armed to the teeth like Rambo, and that it takes a very special man to say, you know what, she's got more ammo than me, but I'm still gonna stand tall. I'm still gonna stand in my shoes and feel confident about who I am and be the best version of who I can become. But a lot of men can't do that, and I think what I realized when I was married and going through my divorce too, I started to realize there's a lot of men who are just like, I cannot be with a woman who makes more than I am. And sometimes you just think like, maybe that's just a saying. Maybe that's just something they would prefer to not be involved with. But it's like, no. It's almost like that kid from It Chapter 1 who's scared of the clowns. Like they literally have a phobia of women who make more than them, who are more successful, women who are just like, they're hoping that they hope that women were just gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna wait for the men to do it. If the men don't do it, we're just gonna live a simple life and not go to college, live a simple life and not aspire, not try to earn a lot of money. We're gonna wait for the man to make money so that men can go around and bitch about how, oh, we gotta take care of our wives and they don't deserve it. Da, da, da. Well, we're in a new day now. The women are turning the tide on that, and a lot of them don't. They make a lot more money than you. They don't need your money. What men, really need to shift their mindset from is stop. Your desirability is not weighted in being a provider. Do the best you can do in that element, but how about you focus on emotional intelligence? How about you focus on trying to have a stable relationship? How about you focus on trying to be romantic, how to be a good spouse, things like that. So listen, so yeah, like I said, like I think the jig is up. I see these men for who they are. They're filibustering. And that's how I think that's how we should look at them and just say, they're all talk, all fluff. They don't have any action. They don't have any bite. They don't have any plans. They just have talk. Wow. These are some great posts, Andrew. Yeah. And I think globally women want to improve in Mexico. Yeah. And I love that for them. And I hate that for the misogynistic dudes. It's like, yeah. So we're gonna get into it. Emotional intelligence matters, but like I said, I see y'all in terms of the manospheric dudes. Y'all just filibustering. Y'all just very weak, insecure, and the problem with the argument is, I think I'm jumping a little bit of ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. It's kind of a play on the high value men are selfish. It's like I started thinking about in the last couple of days, Andrew, and I'm like, these manospheric men, they're like the cow that jumped over the moon. They want traditional wives, but why don't they say it and say, hey, one day I want to have a traditional wife, but until then, I'm going to pair up with a woman. I realize that things are very economically difficult right now. I'm going to pair up with a woman, and I'm going to try to get to a milestone where this woman can work part-time. And we're going to try to let her work part-time for a few years and see how that goes. See how we can deal with the economy at that time. And then if that's working well, we can retire that woman and see how that works and let that go. But the problem is like they want to go from 0 to 100 in like 3 seconds. They don't want to take the baby steps and say, because like if you can retire if you can have a woman working part-time and taking care of a family, you're doing most. I'd probably say just to throw out numbers, I think probably 70% of men don't have the setup to be able to do that. That's a lot of financial strain itself. And the problem that these dudes don't recognize is like the distance between having a 2-income household and one being part-time is not just like 10 steps. It's probably like 100 miles. And the difference, the thing that's funny about these dudes saying, I want a traditional wife, and they don't even earn a living wage. They're trying to like go like maybe like a couple 100,000 miles. And they're skipping all these steps in between, and they don't have the numbers to back it up. Yeah, go ahead. You know what? Let's post the StreamYard one more time. Go ahead and jump. Oh yeah, you said it's talk. My bad. I thought you said let's talk. But yeah, I mean, I've been really blown away with the strength of women, and it's not just Black women, just as they call modern women. As Chris Rock would say, Yeezy taught you well. Like they are really strong and they're withstanding this. They're looking at like these Maspheric men try to put together like a category 6 storm, and they're just like, we got this. This is nothing. This is light work. We got some defenses for this. We'll wait it out. So like I said, I'm really proud of like modern women, as they call it, for bossing up, creating, so in a lot of cases, multiple streams of income. The married woman has multiple streams of income. And just got a new job, by the way. Hold on. Let's see. My girl goes to school with, and I hope, wow. I like this. Yeah, I agree with you on this one, Andrew. The whole trad shit is a joke. Because a lot of these dudes don't understand that, like, traditional, like I said, my mom is a TRADCon wife. She does not dress up like a cartoon character. My mom, love my mom. My mom will be what they would describe as masculine. Not because she has to, as my dad's a doctor, she has to hold down the fort. She has to kind of like raise the kids, do all the logistics, plan all the things, coordinate all the things, make sure everyone's fed, make sure make sure everything family is taken care of. She has to do all the execution. So that's one of the things that these dumbass red pillars don't understand is like, you want a TRADCon woman? She's either gonna be she's probably not gonna be a cartoon character. She's probably gonna be like what they describe as a masculine woman. That it's not really masculine. It's just that they are insecure, so they call it masculine. It just means a woman who's like able to hold down the fort, who's able to execute, who's able to multitask. So let's see. I'm gonna go back to I think this is really key. This is something like me and my ex were talking about. Is like, I made another banner. I think I kind of stepped on it. Like, Black people, specifically the Black men, need to go back to and this is American men too. The reason why we're not in a lonely man crisis, we're in a misogyny crisis. I think there was a better way I had to say that, but we are in a, sorry, the better way I wanted to say that was, we're not in a loneliness crisis. We're in a male identity crisis. You can see me. I'm a guy. I'm not struggling with my identity, but and men who are not manospheric, they're not struggling with their identity. So the men who are egalitarian, as I said before, they are struggling with their identity. They literally can't even move past what it means to be a man because they've been told like this is what it is and it can't be anything different. The problem is that they tell you all the time when you get married, you gotta like, I forget how they say it, you gotta forsake your family and you gotta cling to your wife. Why are you guys clinging to men? How are you guys gonna be husbands but y'all clinging to men? I don't understand it. Make it make sense. How are y'all gonna ever be the person that your family needs, that your children, your wife, even your wife or your family needs, but you clinging to men? Y'all need to let them go. I mean, when you get, like I said, when you get married, you have to let your family go and cling to your wife and your new family. So y'all, to really be men, y'all need to let go of this legion and community of men and be your own man. I mean, y'all are not anywhere close to being ready to get married. Y'all make terrible, as I said, heads of households. I'm going to finally say it for the first time right. Okay. I like these. These are great tweets. Let's see. So I'm gonna say some of these posts because I was asking the women I've been dating, the women I've dated or dating. I'm gonna just ask them I asked them, like, why are black men afraid of marriage? I'm gonna read it verbatim. For the last woman I dated, she said, let me just get to the banner too. Hold on. Let me find it. Okay. I'm gonna start reading it. She said, I think that most are raised by single mothers. They can't envision what a successful marriage looks like. All they see are men using women for sex, thinking that they're playing these women, when in reality, they are playing themselves. You can't build a legacy with your homeboys. You can only build that within a marriage. And then she says, have a great show. I'm going to move on to the married woman. Let me see what she says. She says, because older men talk shit, because they've seen failure. Because having one woman is hard and they lack willpower. She used the cat emoji to describe that. But because they didn't have fathers in the home as examples of healthy relationships, they may have seen parents that didn't kiss. Wow, that's deep. Or no parent or no relationship they didn't want for themselves. I'm gonna try to see if I can read that better. Okay. Oh, so basically she's saying they might have seen their parents grow up in relationships that they didn't want for themselves. But that's deep with the I remember I asked the red pillar best friend that I have, and I said, yo, because his parents got divorced. No judgment. And I said, and he's a red pillar, and he's red pillar before red pill existed. And I said, did you ever see your parents, and did your parents ever show you examples of being in love? Did they ever show you what a loving relationship? And he was like, no. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Let me go to the female data scientist. I asked her, she gave me something on a really short response. She says, I wish I knew, but I think it's due to the way you're socialized. Older black men tell them to not ever marry. I'm gonna give you a heart emoji for that one. But then society tells women to marry as fast as they can. She says it's asinine and as fuck, and there's no middle ground. She says, because if you like women, you're a simp, but you're cool if you have a disdain, I guess, for women. So yeah, I mean, to her point, she's kind of saying like, yo, she's exposing like how toxic male culture is. And I'm gonna get back to this. It's kind of jumping on one of the statements I wanted to make. We're gonna show some videos. But this female data scientist is speaking about something I want to talk about. In male culture, I think even specifically black male culture, we are discouraged from marriage. You can look at examples like Coach Greg Adams, who's a bitter divorced dad who has a daughter, might have more children. A lot of these guys are hiding a child. We know a specific what do you call geriatric YouTuber on that orbits this channel. He hides a whole son and he's having a new child, but that's the way he wants to live. So what I want to say is like, we have people like Kevin Samuels who were shitting on single moms. Don't date a single mom. Well, hold on. I said this on a previous podcast. Let's just think about that. If you're going to tell all black men to not date single moms, y'all better start getting married in college. Y'all better start getting married in your 20s, because I'm telling you, as a 42-year-old man, a lot of these women, they have kids, and there's no judgment to that. They got kids by like 30, 35, maybe even younger. That's just the reality of things. And like I said, going back to the Kevin Samuels point, we've got to stop shitting on. We got to start being more encouraging of men to be in monogamous relationships, not trying to discourage them and say, "Hey, you can find someone better," or create this pissing contest that I say on these shows where they're waiting for like the perfect woman to like fall in their lap, but that woman doesn't want them. They're waiting for like Victoria Monet to fall in their lap. They're waiting for Beyonce to fall in their lap. They're waiting for the new in their city to fall in their lap. She doesn't want you. They're waiting for the 20-year-old smoke show to fall in their lap. I said on the previous podcast, I was like, yo, for these guys who want the 20-year-old smoke shows, like how many 20-year-olds are swiping on you on Tinder or Bumble or Hinge? Like how many? Y'all need to let it go. I told like the last woman I dated, I said, I have to sometimes look at certain women like a Lamborghini. Listen, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It looks great on the road, but I can't afford that. Like, what's the other one that the Cash Money people used to have? It costs $1 million. What the fuck is that car? But like it caught like some of these cars, like the Lamborghinis or Hummers or I just gotta get this car that costs $1 million. Car that. What I'm trying to say is like there are some certain women I can't afford. Shit. I gotta get this McLaren seems like it's expensive. Hold up. And this is gonna have to be corrections for the next episode. I can't remember the name of this car, but the Bugatti, that's it. Listen, there are some women that are like out of my pay grade, and I have to make peace with that and realize, hey, that's for a guy who makes a lot more money than I do. That's for a guy that can afford that for one or different reasons. I'm not going to sit up here and say, listen, I'm not going to sit up here and say I could be a sole provider for someone like Beyonce, even if she wasn't a celebrity. There's just, people have different lifestyles, and you have to respect that lifestyle that they want to live. And you have to admit to yourself, maybe you can't afford that. Let's see. Hold up. Good. I really want to appreciate. There was another one, the one who I call the hand. I want to see. She gave me some points too. She said, let me see if I can find it. They're afraid of doing the work. She said they're looking for perfection. What else? She was talking about brokenness, because let's just be clear about this. We all probably carry a certain degree of brokenness, and we can do the work on ourselves. We can go to therapy. We can seek counsel from friends and family and stuff like that. But we got to be all the way honest about this. A lot of men aren't doing the work. I remember. Let's put the focus on me. When I was married, I didn't go to therapy. And I tell people on these podcasts all the time, like, yo, that's one of my biggest regrets, that I didn't go to therapy. I would have been a different Chris. I would have been a different person. I would have made decisions. I would have had more than just my own thoughts. I thought that I can handle these thoughts by myself. No. You're not going to be able to handle them as efficiently as you would if you had a squad around you, or just someone who's, trained in that. And in terms of a therapist or a psychologist. So yeah, a lot of people are afraid of doing the work, but like I said, like I felt like asking some of the women I dated. I really should ask the on again, off again woman. One of the things she's told me, and I'm going to say this, she told me this years ago. She said, black men, and and I'm going to go back to these posts, for the post from the married woman. Let me go back to that. There was some, she left some more meat in the bone. She said, and I quote, the married woman said, also, a lot of men just want to fuck around until their eggplant doesn't work. That's facts. That's she said Kevin Samuels died from kitty with a kitty emoji. That's facts. So with the on again, off again girlfriend that you would say is, and I quote, she would say, black men, similar to what the married woman said, she would say, black men are not really willing to get married until they have health problems. And there's truth to that. I was not that case. Okay, I like this. The father mother wounds. But I hate that they created that word simp. And that's how you can tell like how far manhood has eroded. There was a day, the people in this generation won't be able to see it. There was a day when men were gentlemen. There was a day where men wore haberdashery, which is like ties and bow ties, and I think like handkerchiefs, and I think shoes might even count as haberdashery. I could be wrong. Sue me. But meaning they dressed well. Men don't do that anymore. They get called a simp if you try to like dress up nice for a date. They call you a simp if you take a woman on a nice date. They call you a simp if you're providing women protection that you are not married to. They call you a simp for being a gentleman, regardless of whether you're well dressed or not. They call you a simp for doing anything that is not selfish. Oh, listen, man, you too, man. I love your posts. It's giving me life. I'm just trying, man. I'm trying to become a better guy. With all the experiences, being transparent on this internet. I'm trying to just be the best I can, man. Because I've been married and I failed, and I wasn't the best version of myself at all times. There were some things I did really well. There's some things I failed at. The things I did terrible at. The emotional work I was terrible at. I still have work to do, but I think therapy has really helped me. Experience has really helped me. But I'm just trying to encourage Andrew. I'm trying to encourage men to be better. A lot of these men out here don't know how many young men, boys, girls, women, aunties, elders would look up to them and appreciate their presence by just them being themselves. Just period, just being themselves and being themselves to their full extent. And that's I think the problem that men are facing is like they feel like doing their best isn't good enough. That's not true. It's that doing your best might not be good enough to just do it alone. And there's no shame in that. Like I remember I went to a barbershop like a decade and a half ago, and I said, I put this barber in a headlock verbally. I said, yo, if there was a like one of these like construction vehicles that was holding like a boulder that weighed like 500,000 pounds, and like it was struggling to do it, and then you try to step in and hold it, and it crushed you. Are you weak? And he said, he thought about it, and he said, yeah, I'm weak. And I'm like, no, you're not. So it's like we need to like stop these things of like, yo, we need to like we need to look at like what is a strong man, and it doesn't mean you got to be able to lift 500,000 pounds. Like, you can be scrawny, you might not be able to lift shit. Your woman might be able to lift more than you. That doesn't mean you're not strong. That doesn't mean you're not a man. But men are so insecure about, because some of these women are very strong. But some of these men are like really insecure. And Andrew, one of the things that we're learning from this generation is like men are super insecure. A lot of men, like the most men, are super insecure. They're extremely impressionable, and it makes me think about like, were men really protectors? like I know they're protectors physically, but besides the physical, they're very vulnerable. And I think that that's maybe the difference between men and women. Like in on most cases, like women are very, very strong mentally. I think I said it on one of these earlier podcasts, like a long, long time ago, like first quarter, second quarter. Like I think women are by and large mentally stronger than men. Um, I'm gonna go further than that. This is gonna really hurt some feelings. I think that the average black woman is a stronger black man than a black man is. If she were to if she were to change lives, I think that they would be able to live a man's life stronger and better than the average black man. That's just my opinion. That's some hot take territory because what we saw from black women is they've been kind of like forged in fire. They they didn't get to where they're at by lowering the bar. They got to where they're at by generations upon generations of women being left alone to raise a family, being left alone childless with no help, to being left in relationships that they financially couldn't get out of, and now they're in the position that they're in. Um, Whereas now, when men have the same opportunity to, if they were really the alpha men that they claim they are, they could stand up. They're not standing up. They just want to sit and bitch and complain. Men have got to be able to swallow the same pill that black women have, or women in general have. It's not just black women. Um, so I think that's the problem with men. Is like, yo, if you go, we got an appearance from Angie Lee and TJ. Hey, Angie, welcome to the panel. I think you might be on mute. Yeah, you're definitely on mute. And you can feel free to jump in. Let's see. Women are incredibly strong emotionally. And I find it really weird that like this generation of men, like they're just isolating women and saying, nah, I'm just going to listen to my bros. No, I'm going to just listen to a stranger online that I don't even know from anything. I'm going to let him tell me not to have kids. I'm going to let him discourage me from getting married and having kids. That is the wildest thing to me. Like I looked at it when I was coming out of my divorce and I said, you know what? If I want to win with women, I want to seek the opinion of women. Not saying I don't want the opinion of men. But we said on these podcasts, a lot of them when Angie and TJ's on, I say like, listen, you got to kind of like do a double take when you are only getting opinions from men, because those men are your competition. They could be your boys. Let's be clear about that. Your boys want to get the badder girl than you. They want to get the baddie. They don't want you getting the baddie. They're not going to say, you know what, I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna let you go get that. That's you. That's all you. No, they want that too. So if they want that too, what do you think the other men want? They want that too. So they want to, and if they're struggling, they want to see you struggling too. That's so like I said, it's just some of these men are like super weird, super insecure. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just that maybe they were raised in single family homes. Like, I think part of it is just like your ability to be gaslit. Um, uh, um, I want to speak on this too, Andrew. Let's talk about Andrew's joining from another one. Hey, we got two moons, two Angies at the same damn time. What's going on, Angie? I think you're mute on again. But Andrew, to your point about the alphas, what kind of alpha is struggling to date in the States? I want to see him. I want to meet him. I want to shake his hand. I want to talk to him. I want to understand why is he struggling? Because it's the same stuff that some of these, we don't want to bring up their names again, but like if you are we're in an era now, Andrew, where men who are 6 feet are walking around like they're 3 feet tall. Oh my gosh. They're walking around like Eeyore from like Winnie the Pooh. They're like, oh my gosh, like I just can't. They're gonna pop the balloon on me. Look at what they're doing to these guys and the pop the balloon. So they're good. This is how they feel about all black men. Come on, man. Like, what happened to men just like having some courage, some confidence? What happened to that? Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know if they went to like the house and get out and like they're just not themselves anymore. They're in the sunken place. I don't know what happened. Uh-oh, the boss. He's making a long time listener. Never called in though. I make a lot of assumptions. I'm making a lot of truth too. So appreciate that. Assumptions don't have to be wrong. So yeah. So listen, the assumption that we're not making the boss, these are weak ass men. And they feel strong because they're in a crowd of other weak ass men. But they're still weak ass men. So it's like I'm just like, where did these men? What happened to men? Like I said on these podcasts all the time, like, yo, I don't care if I was throwing boxes for a living, loading trucks. I would still be confident. But these dudes are not confident, and some of them make some decent money. Hey, Angie, how you doing? Hopefully we got you on the show now. Maybe not. But the boss. Yeah, like I'm telling you, Eeyore. People don't know about Eeyore. They might be too young for Eeyore. You need to Google Eeyore. He is a donkey. He's like the depressed. I think every probably cartoon has like a depressed character. I think in Peanuts, it was the guy. I don't know if he was depressed, but he had always had like dirt following him. I don't know what his name was, but like in Winnie the Pooh, it was this guy. It was this donkey that didn't have a real tail. He had like a nailed on tail, and he was always fucking depressed. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna go show this again. I'm gonna show this again so that people. Hold up. Yep. We're gonna share this. I've shared this in the past. We're gonna share it again. Screen. We'll show Chrome tab. Eeyore. We're just gonna do a nice little story time. This is Eeyore, guys. He's a donkey. He looks cute. But look how mopey he looks and wow, right here he looks depressed. So they describe him as he's a gray stuffed donkey. He is generally characterized as pessimistic, depressed. Who does that sound like? It sounds like red rim men. So this is what black men have turned into. It's sad. They're depressed. They're forlorn. Look at this nailed on tail over here. It's pathetic. This is really what they look like. Oh, we can't see him without the tail. Can we see him without the tail, please? Hold up. Never mind, we can't. But that's what they look like. Like, where's the confidence? So like what we've seen, and I know I don't want to talk about them too much anymore, like the Andrew, the Passport Bros, they get their confidence from being fetishized. Listen, no judgment. Like everybody gets that. Like if anybody's feeling you, listen, that's gonna make you feel confident. But you should have more confidence than just sexual desire. Or let's just say in a lot of these cases, like the Passport Bros, they're just clearly being used as like tools to dig people out of like lower financial situations. And they can't see, like if a woman came to me and was like, yo, I'm feeling you, and she's clearly trying to look like a mail order bride or clearly looking for a green card, how am I supposed to feel confident about that? But these Passport Bros do. Oh, let's see, hold on. Winnie the Pooh had a lot of psychological displayed. Yeah, it was depressed. So let me get into some of this content. Let me get into some of this content that I wanted to share. Let me find my notes because I had some videos. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, let's start with this one. So we want to talk about why are black men not getting married. Spoiler alert before we get into it. My thing is they want the crown, but they can't lift it. They don't want the responsibility of wearing that crown. But I want to get into this. I want to talk first about why the culture is so toxic and it creates a safe space for men who just want, as we said, a simple life. They want low expectations. They don't want to have to be pushed to be better. They don't want to be their full selves. Let me share my screen. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. We're gonna start this from the top. Let me share my screen one more time. Here we go. Fair use. We're gonna go full screen with this one.
A man could be dead broke, but if he has a reputation for just being able to pull a lot of women, whatever, he's still looked at in high esteem in the community, in the black community, and that's wrong.
Do better.
In other communities, like, you looked at in self-esteem by what you accomplish.
Do
how much
better.
money you bringing in?
Do
how many
better.
people you taking care of? How many people you employing? That's where the status comes from. But in our community, nigga just could be out here just hitting bad hoes, be dead broke, $5 in his pocket. He's still looked at as like an upstanding, solid dude. Yeah, man, that's a real one right there, man. He
got them hoes.
Straight up. So I think that speaks to the programming. We got to change that. We got to start speaking about marriages on these platforms, the right marriages. Let me reiterate. We got to start speaking on the right marriages the right way. Like, there is benefit to this shit. Like, it's not all just gloomy and just sacrifice and just, oh man, I had to give up everything I ever wanted to do to be in this situation. We got to stop doing that.
Okay. I was trying to give me a second. So what I wanted to say was, there was a nice little segue. A nice little segue. I might do another little story time, or show and tell. Charleston White. I know a couple shows ago, let's share this. This is timely. I know a couple shows ago I talked about 50-year-old problematic men. Let's accept these cookies. Wow, he's arrested on animal cruelty and aggravated assault. Now, this was news to me. I was today years old. I might be late to the party. Maybe I'm the only one who didn't know. This dude is not only 52 years old. He should be fucking ashamed of himself because he's dressing like a little teenager. This dude has a fucking wife. So the problem I have with this shit is a lot of men, specifically in the 50-year-old variety, they want to sit over here and they want to hang around communities with 20-year-old men. They want to dress like a 20-year-old man. What type of 50-year-old man wears a chain, a rapper chain at that? A lot of these dudes are playing characters so that they can grift off you, so they can fund their own family. Like, there's no shame. Like, people used to, growing up, when the Jersey Shore first came out, people were like, man, do people have any shame? Like, they're willing to like play these characters to like end up becoming millionaires. This is a black version of that. This dude is living a double life. He's like Plies. Like, when you saw the rapper Plies and he's singing he's rapping his songs, and then you see what he talks like on social media, you're like, wait, he's not that guy that he portrays in the rap songs and the rap videos. That's Charleston White. This dude is fucking married, but he's not putting forth. That's his private life. And the problem that we have now is we're in a misinformation era where Charleston White is an embodiment of misinformation. He is spreading misinformation. He's not telling you or encouraging men to get married. He himself is married. He probably has children too. We know I'll put money on that. I would spin the roulette on that one. But I'm sure he's got children. He probably has, children from other women too. I wouldn't put it past him. I would spin the roulette wheel on that one too. But he is playing a character, and dumbasses, red pill dudes on the internet, they will co-sign what this dude will say. Like, yeah, he's saying truth. He's not living. He's not living what he actually raps about. And that's the difference between me and them. On the last live with me and the married woman, Y'all can hear I'm the same dude in real life that I'm on these panels. In real life, without the married woman, I'm the same person that you hear on these panels. I'm not really different. Just maybe a little bit socially awkward sometimes. But this dude is playing a whole ass cartoon character online, and y'all can't see through it. You can't recognize it. And like, even if you can't, he's going into the community and trying to be a quote unquote OG to young Black men, ruining their lives, sending them off the path that they're going to really mess out on 10, 20, maybe 30 years of their life's potential, so that he can go grift off people and get interviews and be a pseudo social media celebrity so he can fund his family. People don't give a fuck about people anymore these days. They don't care about integrity. They don't care about community. They don't care about steering people wrong. They don't care about spreading misinformation. They don't care about ruining your life to get a buck. And that's where I'm different. Let's see. Let me stop sharing that. There's some other content I want to show. Let me maybe make sure I got some content I want to show. Give me a second. There was a good little video. Hold on. Let's pivot to another video. And then I think I have a longer one, and then we might be done. Okay. Let me share my screen. So this is why Black guys aren't getting married. Bam, fair use. Let's go full screen. I love the intro to this podcast. I don't remember what song this is, but they copied it from some other song. Okay, let's skip ahead because they're going to talk about a whole lot of horsing around. Let's skip ahead. Let's see.
Of commitment. And
let's go back.
I was at that age now. I've been married for 12 years. So I would say, 10 years ago, I think it was different. I think nowadays, unfortunately, having this on your finger does attract a certain woman or a certain person.
Mm-hmm. But her question was, why aren't Black men marrying? And I kind of thought about it like,
is that personal opinion?
Yeah, I'm not. Because you're looking at 5 men that are married.
The wrong crowd. Yeah. Is that a personal thing, or like you said, they're not marrying her? Is that what it is?
We're gonna have to go back and answer because you look. We're all of us are almost 10 years.
10 years,
and I've got a lot of good friends, you guys included, that are married. So that's not my experience. I would say to her defense, I saw some research where it is declining. Well, a lot of people, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or not, but a lot of people are not married because they're afraid of commitment. And I tend to hang around people who honor commitment.
But a guy will live with a girl for 6, 7, 8 years, but he won't get married.
But that marriage is that final step, that lock-in step.
That's legal. That's legal.
But he'll have kids with her. They have 3 kids.
But then you still have the same individual who disappear on them kids.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
We as men say we have the wife that we want to marry and the woman that we or just want to date and not make any commitment to. And the woman cannot force us to be their wife or their husband, excuse me. And we have to make that choice. So if I'm not ready to get married, I'm gonna live with you as long as I want. I'm gonna have the cow and drink the milk at the same time.
I think that it's really misconstrued what the marriage commitment really is about.
Yes.
Don't really understand what it entails and what it's about.
What does it entail?
Oh, it entails quite a bit.
I love when we ask that question. What does marriage entail? You see their face.
Quite a bit.
A lot of work. And going back to the young lady that the person that asked about marriage, why aren't we getting married? That is a good question, but also I would emphasize, and I think everybody here will back me up because we've all been married for a while. You shouldn't rush the marriage.
Yes.
Because it's serious.
It's
Well, I would say this. Marriage has taken a big hit. And what I mean by that is it's taken a big hit spiritually. The enemy has been attacking marriage
Big facts.
for quite some time, as well as some other things. So if the enemy is now redefining what marriage means, then a lot of people are being confused on what it means to actually get married. You know what I'm saying? When you got a young black man who's never seen two parents together under the same roof growing up, of course, that line is starting to be, you know what I'm saying, cut off to where what they now see as a successful marriage or a successful relationship doesn't inquire for you to get married. You know what I'm saying? You can sleep with whoever you want to. And when you're redefining what marriage is between a man and a woman, and now you can be a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, that's now your concept of what true marriage is all about is now distorted. And it's kind of confusing.
That was a little problematic.
Young black men off. So to her question, it's coming to a point where marriage is no longer defined on God's rules, but now defined on how man want to see how marriage is supposed to be.
Well, and that's a very good point. And it's always so much to talk about in so little time. But we can continue this conversation online on our Facebook page, our Twitter, and all the other accounts that we have right there at the bottom of the screen. So we'll be right back after this break.
All right, we're gonna press play on that. It was a nice little tune, but let me go find one more video I wanted to show, and then I'm gonna go into like spiels about like why black men are not married. This video was like incredible that I watched, and it proves to us like how we need to like listen to our aunties, we need to listen to our mothers, our sisters, the women in our lives. I gotta find this clip. I found it. Let me share this to myself. But I think that this is not going to be the only time we talk about this. And listen, not everyone needs to be married. Not everybody needs to be married. But I think by and large, a lot of these guys who think, oh, getting married is a bigger commitment than having a kid with someone. These guys who are having multiple children with a woman and you've never married her, shame on you. No. I mean, let's actually put some judgment on that. They are so scared. I want to add to this. I was doing some stats and I'm like, one of the things you'll hear about in this next video is some of these men are scared of divorce. That's the classic excuse. We're scared of divorce. We're scared of the laws. Listen, y'all, I think we said something like I forget the number. It was like maybe like 10% of divorces end in like alimony and like when I looked at it this week, it's like only 8% of black marriages end in like alimony. And I think it's like maybe like something like 12% for like maybe like white couples. But let's get into this next video. I think we're gonna let this one rock. This is like a 20-minute video. I'm gonna do some fair use in between, but like this, it reinstills the notion that like, yo, we gotta listen to our aunties. Like they don't listen to these roided out men that we now find from Romania that we now find out are fucking Trump supporters. And they're going live every fucking day to like get you to go to the polls and vote for Trump. Listen to the women in your lives. Don't just listen to men. That's toxic, in my opinion. You're not getting the whole picture. So let me cue up the next video. Okay. Some of this stuff is skippable, but I don't know if I have all the timestamps. We'll just rock out with this. Let's go full screen, fair use. I'm gonna skip into it a little bit.
Questionnaire or the poll, as I presented it, told me to do just that, mind my business. And so, because I'm a Black woman and I'm speaking about Black men, this is my business. And I'd like to have the conversation, a brief conversation, I'll bet, but a conversation. Because there's a disclaimer here. You can see us on Facebook at Word on the Curve, Black Girls Locker Room, What Trenton Really Makes, YouTube, Blurberry, Spotify, and Apple. We want to be wherever you are. Check us out. And so tonight, we're talking about why Black men don't get married. Or not that they don't get married, why they aren't getting married. I also posted on one of the polls the statistics from the Pew Research Institute. And I'd also researched other legitimate outlets for information. And the bottom line is we're getting married at a lesser rate than most others.
Let me pause that real quick. I think back in the 60s, don't quote me on it, but I think white couples were married about like 75% of the time. I think it dropped down to like 56%. Black people were married at about like maybe like 61%, 65%. And it dropped down to like, I think in 2009, 32. And we know good and well with these dumbass red pillars, it's probably going to go under that. Because these dudes are extra scared of marriage. Let's be very clear here. There was no generation of men that raised families on fucking stats. You guys need to grab your fucking nuts and grow up and actually try to live real life. I'm sorry I went off on a tangent. I got emotional. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Now, my question was regarding Black men. Why are Black men not getting married? That was my question. Real simple. And so I asked a few personally, some very close to me, and one of them blamed me. But that's neither here nor there. I asked a few, and I did the poll across social media. And here's what we came up with. And I'm going to read some of them directly in their context and at Word on the Curve, which you can also go and see some of those. Okay? But they were interesting. Interesting in that I was a bit surprised at some of the responses because I asked them to be honest and keep it clean. Like, this isn't a battle question. And the disclaimer here is that Black men and Black women alike are getting less married. Okay? And so I can't play that. I don't have a license to play that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
She
stop.
struggle streaming.
Okay. And get to some of the okay, that's not going to work
I'm
because
sorry,
we're
y'all.
going to end up with a copyright violation.
Me too.
And that's not the intent. So the question was, why aren't Black men getting married? And here were some of the answers. And some of them I found interesting. Again, there was two people who said they don't see why it's anybody's business and that one said I should mind my business. And then there was another comment from a gentleman who said, why should I get married when I can have everything that a marriage has already? And so there's also some commentary on YouTube from other podcasters regarding this topic. And I want to first discuss that, and then I'll get to some of our comments. And some of the things these group of men said, and it was a group of men, was interesting. Number one, they don't want the hassle. They don't want to be nagged. They can't find partners who want to come up together. They want
bullshit
others to take care of them. Very interesting comments. And then some of them spoke to divorce. Divorce was a big topic across the poll. And it was a big topic in that folks are saying they're not seeing any successful marriages, right? So these are men talking. not women, men.
Don't block your
They
blessing.
don't see any successful marriages. Their partner cheats. What was some of the others? Just very interesting commentary, but not a lot of positive stuff. And here's what I want to say about some of the YouTube commentary, and that is this. Today, the reality is many people hook up, get married, start living as if they're married. And that was one of the other commentary, one of the other comments on YouTube, that they're living as if they're already married. They have it all. And they have options. And they have, they can come and go as they please. They don't want to be nagged. They don't want to fight. Everything can't be an issue. We have to be on the same page, and it's not there. So here's the reality of what's happening
AKA
in a
his
lot of
page.
relationships. First of all, married people want to hang out and swing with single people. And a few of those sometimes is okay. But when you're married, you ought to hang around married people. Married people who are trying to maintain their marriages and learning through it. Anything else is going to get you in trouble. It is, because your single friends are always going to encourage you to do all the things that single people do.
I'm just gonna hit pause. I really don't want to hit pause. I thought that last thing that she said about like it made me feel like how when I have a married friend, Eugene, who's like an ex-boss of mine at one of my previous company. He's married, and I'm like, I want to do everything I can to try to like encourage him for his marriage to be strong. Encourage him, support him, support his marriage, and encourage him that like, yo, you did a great thing. You have a great wife. You have a great woman around you. Da, da, da. But it's like, and sometimes guys, they want to like, do guy things or have little guy conversations and stuff like that. And it's like, there's some truth to what she's saying. It's like the difference is, when you're single, you have a way where you can move around. It's just as a single guy, have certain conversations, talk about certain things, and it can be kind of dangerous if you're married. I remember like I shared the story when I got married and I wanted to just go watch a Philadelphia Eagles game with one of my sister's like roommates who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. My dad was like, as a married man, and I was like married like the previous day or previous week or something like that. And he was like, no, as a married man, you can't be alone with a woman. I forget how he said it. I'm just paraphrasing. So he accompanied with me. He accompanied me to go see it. The other thing I want to touch on too, this is like off topic. It's way, way, way back to the previous video I was showing. They were talking about how, hey, does wearing a ring, is it kind of like a woman magnet? Do you get more attention? Do women try to like take you from your wife? I'm just gonna give you my own opinion. I can't speak for all men. I know that shit didn't come my way. I didn't realize the true nature of female gaze until I got single and I took my ring off. Because like when I was married in the office, in public, no one was trying to, see that ring and say like, oh, and try to hit on me or anything like that. So it doesn't happen for everybody. So like they were saying on that show, like, hey, if you wear a ring, some women are gonna try it. I think maybe certain times the specific type of women you might be hanging around, and I might not be attracted to those type of women or hanging around those women, but it just didn't happen for me. Let's hit play.
The other commentary was that there's a lot of bisexuality, and a lot of people are, going both ways or going the same way, right? And I want to say to each his reach, whatever folks decide to do is all right with me, because the God I serve and love didn't leave me in charge. And I'm so grateful for that. And when I think about the people who would want to be in charge of me, I'm even more grateful for it. We're not in charge of other people. And we're certainly not in charge of what other people do or how they live. The only thing we can do is let them see in us what we believe to be the right way to live. And by the right way, I mean treating people right, doing the right thing, not cheating, just, trying to be wholesome as much as we can be. Now, I may be a bit unrealistic in that, but it's what I believe. And so these guys were just talking about on YouTube all types of things, about why they're not going to get married and why they don't want to get married and why they've been married and they're divorced. But here's the reality. When folks start looking for their partners, the first thing they look for are looks. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Talk to him.
But if looks is what determines who you marry, you already got a problem.
Talk to him.
You already have a problem. Yep, you got one. Because looks are a part of the equation, no doubt. But if that's all it's about, what they look like, what they wear, their hair and this, that, and the other.
She's talking about you manosphere men.
There's no concern for character. You're going to get what your hand calls for. And that's what's happening in a lot of marriages, in a lot of partnerships. You're looking at all the wrong things and you're ignoring the character. You're ignoring. If they're not working when you get with them, what makes you think they're going to start working after you get with them? If they're not building something of their own before you get with them, what makes you think they're going to take the lead in building when they're with you? Why do you believe that? Because they look good. So there you have it. So on the commentary across social platforms, for the polls I posted, they said pretty much the same thing. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Boo.
And still do what you want to do? I can come and go as I please. I'm just, running off some of the things they talked about on the social media platforms. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be tied down. I don't want the responsibility. I'm not interested in, sharing half of everything I have. So there were a lot of different reasons about why people didn't want to get married. But none of them spoke to, one did. I take that back. One at Word at the Curve in the comments spoke to marriage being the stability of our families.
This is true.
And communities. And a lot of people don't believe that. They don't believe there's stability in marriages because they haven't seen any successful marriages. And I would venture to say you're looking in all the wrong places. There are tons of successful marriages. What you're not going to find, and what I saw throughout many comments, is you're looking for perfection. You're not looking for a partner. You want perfection. You want perfection in looks. You want perfection in how your partner behaves. You want perfection in your relationships. You want to be able to do what you want to do and not hear any feedback from your partner. That's not going to happen.
I just want to hit pause real quick. Does that sound like anybody that we know? Guys who don't want to hear any feedback, who don't want to be challenged? Sounds like manosphere, but it also sounds like some guys who were buying some plane tickets, but and going to some other countries. But she hit on a great little point about perfection. I talked about this in the last live before the Married Woman live about how, like, in my opinion, just my opinion, I think black men are like waiting, like the people who are playing scratch offs every day. They're waiting to hit the lottery. It's not going to happen. But they're willing to wait their whole life to do it. It's one of the things I wanted to say. Maybe I wanted to say it a little bit later. I'll say it now. It's like, we look at starting saving for your 401k or retirement at 40 as irresponsible or just late. Let's just not use irresponsible. Let's use late. We could use both words, but we don't look at that as starting a family at 40 or, getting married at 40. We don't look at that anywhere close to being, late or irresponsible. I think that's a problem. Trying to figure out where I want to go with that, but it's just we've got to start looking at some of these things. Delaying. Where I want to go with that was, I talked about it a little earlier, was like, this high value man lifestyle is selfish. People who are actually high value men and were traditional men, specifically traditional men, they weren't gallivanting as high value men. Those were the bad men. the men who are actually the traditional fathers, they poured into their families. I think Andrew Agnon talked about an example of his father doing the same. I talked about an example of mine, my father doing the same. My dad at no point was waiting until he was 40 to gallivant and have children, because like the problem with that lifestyle is if you are truly a high value man at the top of that pyramid, you can sometimes reach some new financial peaks and maybe get exposure to new types of women or new types of opportunities. So this pipe dream of trying to you know experience everything that you can possibly experience and gallivant until like the wheels fall off, there's not going to be much life to live after that, and you're missing out on so much opportunity. And like I said, they're selling these men so many different little dreams. I know I'm going off on a super tangent, but they're selling these men a super dream of like, oh, the 20-year-old smoke show. I want to play a video. Maybe it'll be for the next live about I meant to show it several lives ago from Sadia Khan, when she's speaking about when you're going after the 20-year-old smoke show, she knows she has the power, because all she knows all she has to do is just flaunt a little bit of sexuality, and now you are coming up out of your money. You're bending over backwards. You're doing all this. So the manosphere tries to sell it like the manosphere man has all the power. No, he doesn't. If he's going after the 20-year-old smoke show, she has the power. He's what they don't say is the manosphere man, the manosphere high value man doesn't really want a family. So to him, maybe getting the 20-year-old smoke show and being a sugar daddy might be a win in some sort of sixth sense, but it's not a win. Just like my ex said, like the high value man who's going after the 20-year-old smoke show is playing himself, because he's not building a legacy. No one really looks up to him besides the other douchebag men who want to follow in his footsteps. The women don't look up to him. His family doesn't look up to him. His nieces and nephews don't look up to him. His community does not look up to him in a romantic and the way he lives his life romantically. Let's hit play.
In the real world, that's not going to happen. And anybody who's behaving like that does not value you or themselves, and eventually it's going to fail anyway. I hear men say that they date certain women because they're not combative. They don't ask questions. They don't nag. No, that's because they don't care. They want the caretaking. So the same thing you're complaining about, you're giving to somebody else. When people value themselves, they value their partners. But if they cannot value themselves, they're not going to value any partner. And I don't care how good you are, and I don't care what you do. If you don't value yourself, you can't value anybody else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And I think that we got this love thing all mixed up and twisted up in the game. And by that, I mean, you think it's a game and it's not. Many people are suffering from, and this came across in the comments, past hurts. They haven't gotten rid of the baggage. So they don't see themselves, partnering with anybody else. And I'm here to tell you that having been married, having had one failed marriage and one successful marriage, successful, not perfect. I can tell you that when people genuinely love each other and are willing to go to bat for each other and keep other folks out of their business and be respectful of each other, you're going to fight. Things are going to happen.
This is true.
They are. You have to determine how much it's worth fighting for, because the trash that's out here right now deserves to be at the curb. And that's the word, on the curb. It deserves to be at the curb. A lot of people don't know about loyalty. They don't know about faithfulness. They don't know about fighting through the tough times. They don't know about the struggle together. They don't know about working together. They don't know about character. They don't know about goodwill. And they certainly don't know about grace. And grace is simply forgiveness. And in any relationship, when you find that you can't forgive, what I can tell you for sure is there'll be no peace. In marriages, you have to learn to forgive. You know how you go to work and your coworker gets on your nerves? You guys might not know anything about that because, everything's great and you love your coworkers. But for those of us who didn't always love them, and there was a lot of trauma bonding because you have to be with them every day, but you found a way to forgive them. You know how you forgive your best friend when they're not loyal all the time? You know how you forgive your friends, that you keep company with? You know how you forgive others? You have to forgive your mate as well. You have to forgive your mate. You have to forgive your spouse. And you have to learn how to move on. That's right.
Let's hit pause real quick. I think this was a great little thing that you mentioned about grace. I think I said it maybe a few shows ago about the manosphere and the red pill. They lack humility. They're not and grace. They're not giving grace. They want to come down with a heavy hand on women, specifically Western and specifically Black women. But like, if people start looking at and dissecting their life, it's going to take a lot of grace. They're going to request and require a lot of grace. And like I said on these recent podcasts, like these red pillars and Mansford dudes, like they're going to make terrible heads of household because like to be a husband, a good husband at that, you have to have grace. You have to be able to forgive. I'm going to be honest with you. Some little story time. That's some work. That's some homework I had to do. Leaving my marriage, I was like, Chris, you got to work on your emotional intelligence. You got to learn how to, because listen, I'll be a little honest. I am a hothead, and it takes. I think it's taken a lot of work for me to kind of like calm that down, and maybe it takes a little bit more to really get it out of me now. I think I'm a different person. Therapy has helped with that, but you have to learn how to forgive. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to like be able to self-regulate. You have to be able to show grace, and like I don't see how these Mansford dudes are going to be able to have successful marriages at all because they show no grace. They show no forgiveness. They're not humble in anything that they and the way they go about doing things. I want to say I had another point I wanted to say, but I'm gonna save it for after this video because I don't think she's gonna talk about financial stuff. Let's hit play.
You do. Marriage is for better or for worse. And until people learn how to work through the difficult times, they're going to have difficult times. There are no perfect marriages. Talk to some folks who've been married for a while. They'll tell you, marriage is not perfect. Sometimes you like them. Sometimes you don't like them. Sometimes you want to be with them. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can't even stand the way they breathe.
I
the way they
remember
eat,
those days.
chew their food. That happens. You're with somebody all the time. It's not going to be easy. And that's why I tell you, these folks running around talking about how great everything is and, oh, it's just wonderful. They're posing. They're posing. Marriage is hard work. But when two people love each other, they're willing to put in the hard work. And the question is, with so much doubt about marriage and partnerships, are you willing to put in the work? Or is it just a wedding day? And the goal is just to say that you've been married. Marriage is hard. It is. Just like raising your kids. It's hard. It's not easy. Except the people who have perfect kids. It's easy for them. But for those who have normal, everyday, regular kids, it's rough raising children. It's rough raising a marriage because in a marriage, in a real partnership, everybody's growing. We don't always know how to share. And we certainly don't know how to fight. Because there's going to be fights in marriages. We don't know how to fight. We get ugly. We get, low down, dirty, kicking, scratching, biting with it, talking about each other.
I'm gonna hit
Excuse
pause.
me.
I'm gonna hit pause. That is like, I'm gonna make it like a little quick point. Like it just like kind of piqued my interest. I was like, these so-called alpha men, these so-called traditional egalitarian conservative men, I guarantee you, I would spin the roulette wheel and put some money on it. At the first sight of a disagreement or a fight, those so-called alpha men, they're gonna fall like a house of cards. They have no conflict resolution skills. They have no emotional intelligence. They don't have any concern or care for that woman that they're with. So they're so consumed with, it's my way or the highway. That's not a marriage. And they're gonna quite frankly, they're gonna get sick of doing that themselves. They don't have their shoulders aren't strong enough to carry it all themselves, and neither is their wallet. Let's go ahead and play again.
Talking about things that hurt. Yeah, we don't know how to fight. And I would venture to say, for all of the licensed clinical therapists out there, one of the biggest area that needs improvement, aside from dealing with our childhood hurts, is for married people and people in relationships to learn how to fight fair. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because that's another topic. They were tired of fighting, right? Fighting is not always a win or lose. Sometimes it's just simply a disagreement. And it's okay to disagree. It really is. It's okay to disagree. Even in marriages, solidarity wins. That's when two people are on the same page with the same goals, who are not perfect, who don't always get it right, but they want to be in it to win it. The next time you decide to get into a relationship, before you do, I'd ask you to take your time, because this is why people are not getting married. Take your time and unmask yourself first, and then your partner. Unmask your partner. Take the time to get to know who they are. Take the time to get to know their families. Because see, when you marry somebody, you marry the family too. Yeah, you marry your in-laws and outlaws. You do. And if there's going to be any measure of peace, you have to get along with them to some degree, whether you like it or not. And so,
big facts.
Unmask the person that you want to spend time with. And maybe there won't be so many failed marriages. I love when people get in relationships and say, things like, oh, maybe he didn't know how to love her. Maybe she didn't know how to love him. Maybe you don't know who you're dealing with. But time will tell. And so, unmask your future partners before you drop your head in their bed. Try it. Might work. Looks and beds do not a marriage make. And no marriage,
Talk to him.
none is perfect. They all take tons of work. So why Black men are not getting married? There's a ton of reasons. The biggest of which, most of them aren't prepared for marriage, and neither are their spouses. Okay? That's right. You're not prepared for marriage.
I beg to disagree.
Did no marriage counseling, wanted to set a date, jump into it, look great, show people how fantastic you are. And you didn't do any work on the partnership. So, word on the curve is there's a lot of different reasons why Black men are not getting married. none of which include that they found the right partner, they worked on it, they unmasked them first, they spent time getting to know them, and they included character in their list of must-haves. None of those complaints mentioned any of those things. My name is Annette. I'd like to thank you for joining me here this evening.
I guess we're
I'd
done.
like you to ask.
Guess we're done. Let's stop this. All right, we're good. Oh, the Indiana mom. I love this. 30 years. Congratulations. I know the married woman in the last episode, she loved that too. Let's see. Okay, I'd love to know what you mean by this. Mystic Dime. But again, like I think that's, let me turn off the banner. We don't need to show anything else. We're done. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, I feel for these alpha men or fake wannabe alpha men. They don't realize they don't have to do it all by themselves. I think society has kind of like brainwashed them and said, like, no, you're a man, you have to be able to do it all by yourself. You're weak if you can't. You're weak if your wife ever had to work. That's bullshit. It's creating the culture of they want everybody to be crabs in a barrel, the same barrel, all miserable, because only like 1% of people are going to be able to achieve all the things that the American dream wants, all the things that the TRADCon conservative, traditional, egalitarian husband wants. And that's not the way that people should live. People should be able to be happy and in the way that they're able to thrive on different economic levels, whether it's one person working, two people working, one person part-time, whatever. But these traditional egalitarian men are just shitting on everybody, saying, oh my gosh, your wife is working, oh my gosh, your wife makes more than you. And they can't keep a woman. Let's address that. They can't get a woman, they can't keep a woman. And let me scroll into like some of these banners before we get out of here. 'Cause I can ramble for days. Let's see. So why weren't black people getting married? Black men specifically. Let me get into my spiels. Culture, number one, and this is not in any kind of order. This is just like order of thoughts, like cultural influences. We talked about it a little bit before. The Kevin Samuels, the Coach Greg Adams, the geriatric YouTubers who want to tell you to chase the 20-year-old smoke show, delay, creating a family until you're 40, or like Rollo Tomasi said, hey guys, in your 20s, focus on being a high value man and get a vasectomy so you can't get anyone pregnant, so you can just go out there and just be as promiscuous as you can. Let alone, we're not talking, they didn't mention anything about what you're going to catch doing that shit, but that is not a man on his purpose. And I'm going to get back to the point because I'm going off the point. The culture, the male culture, specifically black male culture, it's not encouraging men to get married. It isn't. It's discouraging them, and it's encouraging them that, like, oh, you know what? There's a fallback plan. You can just have a BM. You can have a baby mama. Like you can just do that. You don't owe her anything. You don't owe your children anything. It's all about you. Same thing with the high value man lifestyle. Oh, it's just all about you. Just wait till you're 40 or you're 50. Start a family at 50. Never mind the fact that like black men probably only lived like 68 years old on average. Like, never mind the fact that that child is going to grow up without seeing you for a huge portion of life. It's just all about you. Second one, I kind of stepped on that a little bit. It's just selfishness, I think, is a big factor. A lot of these dudes, regardless of whether they have the resources to do it or not, they're selfish. They are takers. They're not givers. They're takers. They're not lovers. They're not romantic. They're not willing to put anyone else's needs first. And that doesn't have to mean, marriage. That could mean parenting. That could mean relationships. Let me look at the comments real quick. Wait, what? Okay, we'll get to this, boss. Good question. We'll get to this. I'm gonna star this comment. We'll get to it. This was not the topic of the show, but we'll get to that. Let me get through my spiel so I can get up out of here and after I answer your question. Okay. Because to boss, to your point, matter of fact, I need to make that a whole show. Matter of fact. I said this a little earlier. I'll say it again. Like, we as men need to stop going the Kevin Samuels route, stop going the Coach Greg Adams and the Angry Man route. Angry Man is fucking married, by the way. I think he does actually have integrity, and he does say that. He's not hiding it like what's his face? The guy that we were talking about earlier, the 50-year-old man. Fuck, I forget his name. Charleston White. Good, I didn't forget it. But we need to get back into the point. Like, we need to encourage men that, like, yo, regardless if you're dating a single mother or not, that might be what's good for that man. Stop shaming that man for doing that. If he's dating a woman who makes more than him, or if he's dating a woman that works or makes as much as him or near as much as him, stop shaming that man for that. If this man is, even though this dude is a cuck, Anton Daniels, if he got married to a high school sweetheart, or if he got married to someone very young, don't discourage that man for that. Encourage that man. Salute that man for that. Instead of trying to pull him back into the single culture of like, oh man, look at this, look at all these opportunities. Sure, there are opportunities out there for different types of things, but we should encourage each other that for men who are monogamous, who do want to have families, who do want to get married, they should be encouraged and saluted, not discouraged and belittled for that. 6, I'm jumping ahead. I didn't do this in order, apparently. They said this on the video. The woman who I kind of consider the hand in my life. She said this. She said, I think this is kind of like got a lot of men in a chokehold, like being stuck with the same option. But like, I really want to piggyback on this and say, have you ever been in love though? Has you ever been with a woman who loved you and you loved her too? You might not look at it like this. This one too. It's got men in a chokehold, afraid of commitment. It doesn't help that the culture of male culture is actively discouraging that shit, and telling you that you should have more than one person. You should, you don't need to settle down. You don't, even if you got the woman pregnant. Then let's move on. I stepped on myself because this one is, you've never been in love. That's one. This is not a definitive list. This is just my random thoughts. This was something from the woman who was the hand wrote. I just wrote this one down. This is not my talking point, but I think to maybe speak to her talking point, we all have our own. I said it a little earlier. We all have our own traumas, and some people might look at women that they might have dealt with and realize that, hey, maybe they have some daddy issues, or maybe they have this going on, they have that going on. They're not thinking about like, what do they have going on, and what is the work that the spouse that is with you, or the girlfriend that's with you, or the partner that's with you, what are the problems that you or baggage that you come with, and how are they helping you through that? So I'm not saying, get with a charity case. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, if some people have some work to do, like, everybody's not perfect. All relationships are not perfect. All marriages are not perfect. All people are not perfect. I'm gonna move on from that. I didn't put a number to this one, but I've kind of spoken on this like many times in this show. It's like, it's not all about you. And in the manosphere, it is. It's all about you. Women apparently had all women had a hot girl summer, and it's now time for men to get their hot boy summer by waiting till they're 40 and reaching a financial peak and all these other little childish bullshit. We talked about this before. These men are afraid of doing the work. I think some of these points we'll have to like revisit in another show and talk about in depth, maybe hopefully with more people than just me. But this is a hallmark. A lot of people, they're afraid of doing the work. They want something easy. They want a simple life. I'm sorry. Even a simple life's going to have a little bit of work. And you know what? Let me go in a typical Chris fashion. Let me go on a tangent. When we had the married woman episode, she talked about, like, don't you want a simple life on the farm with a dog? I said, fuck no. I don't want if I have a simple life, I'm gonna have simple children. I don't want my children growing up and then the biggest thing that they've done for the year is milk cows. Hell no. Or plants. No judgment, because listen, farming is a career. I'm just saying. I want a high powered woman. No disrespect to farmers. Let's see. Hold on. They're looking for perfection. We've beat this like a dead horse. I don't think I have anything to say. Next one. We've kind of spoke about this in different ways. The monkey see, monkey do. That effect of it is they see other men not committing to women, running through women, not settling down, not being monogamous, encouraging each other to do the same. Well, newsflash, Pookie's already doing that. And you guys are modeling Pookie behavior, but you guys claim you're not Pookies. You guys are Pookies. Fear. We've talked about this one. And listen, it's not to say that there isn't things to be afraid of. I'll be honest. I'll do a little story time. I'm dating the married woman, and this woman is high powered. It's intimidating. She's on a higher level than me, and some career wise for sure. And I can tell that she's a woman that is going to, just from how she gives suggestions of, like, hey, this is what you should be doing with YouTube. How are you going to rebrand this? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? I know that if in a relationship, let alone a marriage, like it's not going to be she's going to push me. And that push is not going to always be comfortable. It's not supposed to, because it's trying to make you, bigger, stronger, things like that. So it's like moving away from that, this fear, it's a shame that, like, men who've been married, who have been through, bad divorces, or just divorces, period. Some of these guys have not been through a bad divorce. But they want to kind of discourage men from getting married because, like, they weren't good. Let's be kind of clear about it. They weren't good husbands. They didn't have a good marriage, partially because they weren't a good husband. It might be entirely, but like I said, I'm divorced. I filed. I'm not going to discourage any of y'all from getting divorced. I mean, getting a marriage, getting married. I'm not going to sit here and try to block your blessing. But I think that there are some people who are not going to get married because of fear. I think it's, I feel sad for them. Not everybody should, get married, but it's just sad that, like, people are taking this hearsay from just men. They're not looking at, they don't have examples. They probably don't have examples of people who are in successful marriages, let alone in their family or friend circle. And they're going to just, like I said, try to live this life of circumventing marriage by either not getting the state involved, circumventing marriage by just shacking up with a woman, having kids, and not ever getting married, which I think is disgusting. But men need to acknowledge that, like, yo, you are not an alpha man if you're going to let the fear of love, failing an attempt at love, scare you in pursuing love. You're not an alpha. You're not strong. You're actually very weak. I want to move off to another point. Peer pressure. So we talked about this in different points. We've talked about how they're searching for perfection. I said this to BA on one of the first panels I was on with him and Femi. I said, like, listen, the woman who I'm with, the woman who I settled down with, the married woman, she has a kid. She's going through a divorce right now. We've seen on these panels, people are trying to shit on me. Why? Listen, Chris, you're in the land of milk and honey. Listen, when you see a good thing, you better snatch it up. If I don't snatch up the married woman, someone's going to snatch up the married woman. And listen, if things don't work out with me and the married woman, I'm going to find a woman who I feel like I'm most compatible with, and I can build a life with. I don't care what what the guys around me have to say about that shit. because they don't have to date her. They don't have to be married to her. They're not building a life with her. So I'm not looking for the approval of the men to validate my romantic choices. And lastly, like, can you, let's just be honest, man to man, like person to person, adult to adult, can you even be monogamous? Have you even reached that point? I think a lot of guys, some guys can't answer this truthfully. They have not gotten to this point. I think those are all the talking points I had for now. I'm a little gassed, but let's get into the comments. We do need to get back to the boss. Hold up. Okay. Yeah, exactly. This I've said this on previous podcasts too. So like that's one of the ways you can attack the boss's statement. Why aren't black women getting married? Because they'll bring a lot of maspheric men will bring up black women are the least married of all women. There's a couple reasons for that. One, like Mystic Diamond saying, these women can't marry themselves. That's a big fact. The other one is they're very race loyal. Like I'm dating. I have my off and on girlfriend that we're not dating anymore, but like I remember going on the first date and she was like, "Man, like we meaning black women." She's like, "We just love y'all," and I was like, "Wait, what? What?" And she will only date black men. Everything else to her is yuck. Listen, pause. Tom Brady is an attractive man. Pause. Who else? Travis Kelce, attractive guy. Pause. And I don't like guys, but I'm just saying, recognize real. Like we can all recognize like beautiful people. But so I don't understand how some of these black women are just like, I can't see anything other than black is just unattractive. It's gross. I don't get it. But yeah, to me, the boss is like it's many things, but two of them that you can say is like one, black women are very race loyal. Two, as men love to say, women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of marriage. The answer's right there, boss. The black women aren't really married because black men are if we pull the stats, black men are they're the least married in this country. And they've been so since after the 60s, they've trailed probably everybody. So that's your answer right there. Why they're not getting married. One, they haven't started dating out to the degree that they deserve, that they should be. Two, they can't marry themselves. Three, black men aren't really getting married. They don't value marriage. They can't, and black women can't marry themselves. I'm trying to think about something else. It's not that. I'll tell you what. It's not the boss. It's not that black women don't value getting married, because you'll see a lot of manosphere men try to spin that narrative like, oh, these women aren't raised to be wives. It's bullshit. Oh, these women, they're not worth making these sacrifices for. No, that's just cope. Y'all just need to say that you guys aren't prepared for the responsibility that takes. No judgment. You just need to say that. Let's just see. Let's go to this last point. Chris is saying black men. It seems all men are not getting married, but black men are getting married. Wait, what? Anton is one black man. He's a cuck at that. And I feel sorry for his wife. She needs to, I forget what her name is, but she needs to blink twice, because I don't think she could be happy in that marriage. She's just happy because of the financial security. Yeah, I mean, I just stepped on this point. Black men are not, they're the least marriage minded. That's it. It is, let's be clear about this. This is starting to become a problem for like men of all races, specifically black and white men. But this ain't new for black men. Black men have been on this shit. White men are starting to cry and bring tiny violins around all the day, all the live long day, so that they can get some spare change for a pity party. Black men have been on this type of shit. They've been on this type of time. This ain't new. They're just now trying to march together with these white men who feel disenfranchised in their relationships. And it's also coincidental that this. Oh, we're gonna get to that comment. It's also coincidental that these men are crying now that women are starting to make a lot of money and outpace them and become a little bit more independent. Okay, let's go to this last point. She married him when he was poor. You know what? I'll give you that point. We don't know if we can prove that, but because there are some rumors that this dude got paid out from like, I'll just say there's a rumor that he got like a huge payout. I don't know if it's from himself or from an injury. It could be fake news. But if she married him when he was poor, let's give you that point. Let's put that on the scoreboard. Good for both of them. You love to see black love, but let's be clear. Anton Daniels is a cuck. He's an asshole. He's probably playing a character just like Charleston White. Because if he's the same person in his household as he is online, man, I want that woman to blink twice. I will have somebody like kick the door down to get her to what do they call it? Witness protection. No. No, that's not true. But I will agree with you on maybe the Anton Daniels point. Maybe I made an assumption. Maybe I made a reach for Anton Daniels. But like I said, that dude, I want his wife to blink twice because I don't think she could. I don't see how she could be happy. Besides the fact that she's not really having to work and she's living a TRADCon life, but I wouldn't want that for her. I feel bad for her. Anyway, that's it. I'm gassed. The boss, thanks for showing up. Thanks for everyone showing up. I love the comments. Y'all have a great night. I'm out.